On this episode of Science with Shields, we're making s'mores, but no campfire necessary.
We are beautiful science, compliance, baby, you and me, a cosmic alliance, defiance.
Hey everyone, it's Christy Shields, and on this episode of Science with Shields, we are making a solar oven, and that's going to make us some s'mores. So what we're going to do is we're going to harness the power of the sun, which means the first thing you need for this experiment is a nice sunny day. Keep that in mind. You're also going to need a box, preferably with a lid already attached. If you do not have a box with a lid, you can also use a pizza box, or have a parent or guardian cut you a lid or a flap onto a box that is already ready to go. The next thing we're going to need is some tin foil, and we're going to basically line the entire inside of our box with tin foil. I've already started this process, so I'm going to continue to do this. And you may need to tape it down, and the flatter you can get the tin foil, the better it's going to be. And again, we're covering the inside of the box to create this solar oven. And why this is really important is the fact that it is going to reflect the sun's rays. And whenever the rays are reflected into our solar oven, that's going to help heat our marshmallows for our s'mores. So now we have that. The next thing we want to do is take black construction paper, because black also absorbs the sun's rays, which creates heat. So I'm going to fold this in half and stick this into my solar oven. All right. We now basically have the solar oven covered. Now, if your box, mine thankfully can stand up by itself, you may need to use a skewer or something to make sure it stays open, because if it closes when it's outdoors, obviously it's not going to bake anything, because we need the sunlight to come into our oven. But like I said, thankfully mine stays pretty open right now. So I'm going to pick this up so you can kind of see what's going on inside of our box. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is you want to take your solar oven outside. And when you do, you're going to stick some graham crackers into the bottom of the box. Make sure it's facing the sunlight, and you're going to stick marshmallows in there on top of 2 graham crackers on the bottom of your box. Once you have the marshmallows and the graham crackers on, you then use saran wrap or cling wrap, and you put that on top of the box. We're putting this on top of the box so that way it is going to keep the heat inside the oven. So once those sun rays hit and reflect off the tin foil, it hits the dark black of our construction paper. It's really going to heat up this oven pretty quickly, and then that saran wrap on top is going to keep the heat in the oven so it doesn't escape back into the air. When I did this experiment on a really nice sunny day when temperatures reached into the upper 80s, the inside of my box was between 135 to 138 degrees while we were making these s'mores. Now, to get this to work, it is going to take longer than it takes to make a s'more with a campfire. In fact, when I did this experiment, it took me about 2 hours for our marshmallows to get crunchy. They're not as perfect as whenever you make a s'more on a campfire. And also, it is going to be a moment whenever you finally touch the marshmallow and it's like, okay, it's getting gooey inside. Then you can stick that chocolate on top for about a few minutes. And then once we're done, voila, we've got s'mores to enjoy and eat thanks to the sun. And this is something that actually happens here on Earth with our greenhouse gases. They actually make a layer in our atmosphere. They include carbon dioxide and water vapor and methane. And what they do is they're able to trap the sun's heat here on Earth from those sun rays hitting down into the Earth. And it doesn't allow that heat to escape back into the atmosphere, because if those gases were not up there and we didn't have the greenhouse effect, it would be too cold for us to live here on Earth. So make sure to try this out on a nice hot summer day with sunshine and make some s'mores thanks to solar heat. Thanks for watching this episode of Science with Shields. Check out more by heading over to WTAJ+.